plan to try and acquire Greenland?
Well, again, listen, this is all about building a relationship. Let me tell you what I found. What I found that Greenland was not on the map until Donald Trump put it on the map.
Donald Trump has the most consequential job in the world, but he treats it like he's a bored teenager sitting in the back of a classroom, garbage posting on his phone all day long. He is so completely detached from the weight of his responsibilities that apparently starting one war isn't enough for him. We can't just have innocent people dying in Iran. Donald Trump feels the need to push into Cuba and the Panama Canal as well. And now here we are talking about Greenland again. But don't expect that to last long. Because just like every other conflict or negotiation Donald Trump touches, he is once again putting his weakness on full display. He's already preparing to flee with his tail between his legs, leaving in a state of total humiliation. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. And now all of this is happening while American planes are being shot out of the sky, while American service members are being killed, and while billions of our taxpayer dollars are being incinerated every single day. Donald Trump's entire term is collapsing into a historic disaster, and his Greenland adventure is following suit. We're going to dive into all of it, but I want to start with a point that I think has been overlooked by almost everyone. How this entire saga plays directly into the hands of Vladimir Putin. Jessica Tarlov pointed this out perfectly right here. Before we get into the details of Trump's Greenland humiliation and the raging war that makes this all so much worse.
You understand his weaves or his bobs or whatever, but you have a pan-European fleet coming to back up Greenland. You have the Germans and the French.
A European fleet. That's the funniest thing you said all day.
No one would be happier
They have one aircraft
if
carrier?
NATO was disbanded than Vladimir Putin. And Kellyanne, you say, I don't know what liberals think about Russian, China influence. Donald Trump was the one who rolled out the red carpet, quite literally, for Putin, got nothing from it, then tried again, got nothing from it, and it's been those embarrassing
Biden
liberals.
was in the White House,
Okay.
and
Donald Trump
Obama and Biden were in the White House.
Not only did he not interfere in the
He inherited
election,
that mess.
but he wants what's best for Ukraine, which made everybody, including Zelensky, have to laugh out loud. Do not put this on liberals that we don't know who the real threat is. We have wanted sanctions on Putin that Trump had been unwilling to do. And you had folks
who's
like
a bigger threat to liberals, Putin or ICE?
Don't make her answer.
Lol.
These people treat everything like it's one big joke. They refuse to think critically about the actual implications of Donald Trump's disastrous decisions. They'll bend over backwards to connect Joe Biden wearing a pair of sneakers to Putin taking control of Ukraine. They'll say, oh, this conflict is only happening because Joe Biden stuttered over a word. But when Donald Trump plays directly into Putin's hands, attacks the very foundation of NATO, and puts his weakness on full display on the global stage while abandoning Ukraine, they don't care at all. Their concern is entirely dependent on who is sitting in the Oval Office. We already know this about the Fox propaganda machine, but I still find it hard to believe they aren't more embarrassed by the sheer weakness Trump is projecting. Of course, they don't care about our allies. That doesn't matter to the hacks at Fox. They'll happily crack jokes while our standing in the world crumbles. The weakness is just glaring. We saw it with Trump's bizarre obsession with Greenland. J.D. Vance's trip there was an absolute display of incompetence, but so was Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry's recent visit. Landry just decided he'd finally had enough and fled, but not before he spewed some of the most moronic garbage I've ever heard. And that is vital context for understanding exactly why Donald Trump eventually got kicked out.
Plan to try and acquire Greenland?
Well, again, listen, this is all about building a relationship. Let me tell you what I found. What I found that Greenland was not on the map until Donald Trump put it on the map. In other words, the United States, before Donald Trump, had basically ignored this place. And I think it's really to the detriment of both the relationship between the United States and Greenland and the opportunities that we can bring Greenlanders. I think that that's important as well. And so I would tell you that the credit to bringing opportunity to Greenland is squarely on Donald Trump. He recognized that. He wants to create opportunities here in Greenland, and that's my job. And so that's what I'm going to be going back and talking.
So Donald Trump decided to send the incompetent governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, a man who right now is primarily obsessed with stripping black people of their right to vote and actively working to overturn an election. They're literally saying, okay, we sent out those ballots, but we're throwing them out, they don't count anymore. He is effectively trying to reverse a democratic result, and I honestly feel like we aren't nearly hair on fire enough about that. And this is the guy they sent to Greenland? A guy who openly admitted he didn't even know where it was on a map before this trip? I feel like that is a massive point against you, Jeff. I usually hate playing the imagine if Joe Biden did this game. But just imagine for a second if Barack Obama appointed someone as ambassador to Italy and that person stood up and said, yeah, I had no clue where Italy was on a map until now. It would be the only thing the media talked about for months. Why does this administration love incompetence so much? They genuinely seem to celebrate it. Well, take a look at where that incompetence has gotten them. They've officially been kicked out of Greenland. Trump's Greenland goon flees with tail between his legs. Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana received an icy reception in the Arctic territory. Donald Trump's latest Greenland mission appeared to end in humiliation after his controversial envoy abruptly ended his trip after a failed charm offensive in the Danish territory. Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana, who bizarrely also served as Trump's special envoy to Greenland, made an unofficial visit to the Arctic island's capital this week. Landry turned up for the Future Greenland Conference on May 19th to the 20th after arriving in Greenland on Sunday with no meetings locked in with any politicians, according to Reuters. So, he's just there for no reason. The conference organizer told Reuters they did not invite Landry but noted anyone could sign up for the event. Landry told Danish broadcaster DR that Trump had told him to go over there and make a bunch of friends, as many friends as we can. According to London's The Telegraph, the governor wrapped up his trip on Wednesday. In a farewell message, he thanked Greenlanders for their hospitality, said he hoped to strengthen ties, and expressed regret that he only had time to visit just the capital during his trip. Farewell to the people of Greenland. I enjoyed the many introductions and conversations. Thank you for the warm welcome, and I will continue to work to deepen ties between our people, he wrote on Twitter. But Landry received anything but a warm welcome on the island, which is an autonomous territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. Videos circulating online showed Greenlanders giving him the middle finger, children refusing MAGA hats, and one boy bluntly rejecting a photo request after Landry asked, "Do you want a picture?" and received a simple no. Another clip showed the Louisiana governor walking through the capital as a woman followed behind him shouting, "Don't come here, go home." So it's absolutely no surprise. People despise Donald Trump, and they certainly despise Jeff Landry. But the real question is, why is this even our focus right now? Why is Donald Trump wasting even a second of attention on a non-conflict in Greenland when there is a real war right in front of him that is going disastrously? New reporting is coming out detailing exactly how horrific things have become with Donald Trump's war in Iran. It is gut-wrenching, it is disgusting, and it is profoundly sad. While he's playing games with maps, real lives are being destroyed. True scale of Trump's military disaster is revealed. What goes up has a tendency, I should say, to go down. Donald Trump's war with Iran has left dozens of US airplanes damaged and destroyed. A new congressional report has revealed casualties and equipment loss have been anything but few and far between for a war that has cost the US billions, with the Defense Department failing to publish its own comprehensive summary of the damage suffered during the fighting. Several major incidents, such as the downing of 2 pilots over Iran, have garnered significant attention, while other incidents have flown more under the radar. Now, the Congressional Research Service says the total number of lost or damaged vehicles could be as high as 42. The group serves as a non-partisan think tank that provides information to Congress. It uses DoD and CENTCOM statements as well as news reports to build a picture of the actual losses of military fixed-wing and rotary-wing, manned and unmanned aircraft. It covered key incidents such as an F-15E Strike Eagle, which led to a high-stakes search and rescue mission in early April, as well as 3 more F-15E Strike Eagles that were shot down in a friendly fire incident over Kuwait. But the cost goes further and includes a damaged F-35A Lightning II, a destroyed A-10 Thunderbolt II, and the loss or damage of 7 KC-135 Stratotankers and an E-3 Sentry AWX, of which the US has little more than a dozen. There have also been 24 MQ-9 Reaper drones and one $240 million MQ-4C Triton drone lost. So, the war is a total disaster and it's draining millions of our dollars every single hour. Fantastic. And where is Donald Trump's head at? He's fixated on Greenland. He's obsessed with garbage posting on Truth Social. He's focused on literally anything else except ending a war that nobody in this country ever wanted to be a part of. With this massive cost being dumped onto the American taxpayer, you'd assume Pete Hegseth would be at the Pentagon focused on the budget, right? Wrong. Pete Hegseth is laser focused on his own bank account. As we now know, right before this war broke out, Hegseth, through a stockbroker, attempted to purchase over $2 million worth of defense ETFs. Surprise, surprise, those have skyrocketed in value since the fighting started. He was recently pressed on this blatant insider trading by Elizabeth Warren, and honestly, I think this exchange is exactly where we need to close today.
I'm also concerned about recent reporting on your own financial dealings. with regard to profiting from the war in Iran. The Financial Times reported that your broker tried to buy hundreds of shares in a BlackRock fund invested in defense companies just before the war began. The law clearly prohibits the Secretary.
That entire story is false, has been from the beginning, and was made up out of whole cloth. And anybody that looks at it sees how it was worded from the beginning to make it look like I was involved in something I had nothing to do and never have. So any insinuation that I've ever profited other than serving this nation, what I give, what you give, what others give, I'm not looking for money. I don't do it for money. I don't do it for profit. I don't do it for stocks. And that's part of the reason why I'm able to be effective in this job. Because no one owns me. No one owns this department. No one owns this president. And we can execute for the American people, and we do.
The law clearly prohibits the Secretary of Defense from owning stock in the 10 biggest defense contractors. Other senators and I sent you a letter with detailed questions about this, and you have not given us a response. So I'd like to hear you say, did you, through your broker at Morgan Stanley or otherwise, seek to invest in any defense-related funds right before Trump started the Iran war?
I'll give it to you as a big, fat negative.
Then let me ask you a second question. Is your broker getting your personal sign-off on any investment in individual stocks?
Bigger, fatter, negative.
He's not getting your sign-off before he makes investments in defense stocks? Can I refer you to your
I'm not making investments,
agreement?
Senator.
I am asking, does he know that he has to get your sign-off before he does that?
Of course.
The
I
time
don't know what
of
you're
the
looking for, but you ain't
senator
gonna
has
find
expired.
it.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
I would like to enter into the record the ethics agreement that the Secretary of Defense has signed, that he will sign off personally before his broker.
Truly, the most incompetent and malicious people are the ones running our government right now. It is heartbreaking, but it is the cold, hard reality of where we are. They are fundamentally stupid, but this level of corruption needs to be our primary focus because it reveals exactly what is driving these disastrous decisions. People are looking for explanations right now. They want to know why things are so terrible. Well, I think the answer is pretty clear. When the Secretary of Defense is trying to dump $2 million into defense stocks right before a war that he knows will inflate those prices, that is why we're at war. These are the simple, clear, and undeniable truths that explain why everything is going so horribly wrong in the Trump administration. Honestly, that's the only description that fits this moment. Things are just falling apart under this administration. And we are certainly going to continue to expose all of it on this show every single day. If you want to support this work and our mission, as always, please hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. If you've stuck around until the very end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Also, if you want to do me a quick favor, the MAGA crowd has been relentlessly attacking my Spotify. They've been leaving 1-star reviews and spamming hate comments below the episodes. Now, I don't care about the mean comments, but I'd love to get that rating back up because I'm proud of this podcast. So, if you could head over to Spotify, find the Liam Prescott Show, and leave a 5-star rating, it would honestly mean the world to me. While you're there, hit that subscribe button too. Spotify is a great place to keep up with the show on the go. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'm Liam Prescott, and I'll see you in the next one.